Hello. This lesson talks about application of Pythagoras theorem. Basically, what we can do, we can use Pythagoras theorem to find missing sides. So if you've got two sides of a right angle triangle given, remember Pythagoras is about a right angle triangle. If you've got two sides of a right angle triangle given, you can work out the third side, how long the third side is. In this lesson, we're specifically learning how to find the hypotenuse, the longest side. I've got a triangle here. C is the hypotenuse. One of the short sides is 4 meters, the other short side is 3 meters. Of course, not drawn to the scale. Then you say C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. A is 3, so 3 squared, and B is 4 squared. As I said, it's up to you. Somebody might say 4 is 8, so you put 4 squared, then plus 3 squared. Doesn't affect anything. The only thing you shouldn't confuse is C. C is always the longest side or hypotenuse. Okay, so C squared is equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared. You put 3 squared in your calculator, you get 9. 4 squared in your calculator is 16. And you're adding them. 9 and 16 is 25. Now C squared is 25. How do I find C? C is the square root of 25. Or you know that 5 squared is 25. Then C is 5. So either you got to know it, or you can use the square root in your calculator. So C squared is 25. To find C, use the square root in your calculator. Okay, C is equal to square root of 25. Now, here my answer was like a perfect answer, like a whole number. If I didn't have 25, for example, I said 27, I have 27 here, I cannot square root it. So, in this case, you can do two things. One is still put in your calculator, and it will give you a decimal which goes forever. Then you can give it to 1 or 2 decimal places. Or you can keep your answer under the square root like that. Give this as your answer, like square root of 25. In this case, they are not going to do that because 25 can be easily square rooted to 5, whole number. But if it was 27, I could have left it as square root of 27. If they told me give your answer in third form. That's what third means. Okay. Example 2, find C below. So I've got C here, C is my hypotenuse, A is 5, B is 12, or other way around, doesn't matter. So C squared is equal to, the shorter side squared, 12 squared, then plus 5 squared. Put that in your calculator, 12 squared is 144, 5 squared is 25, add them up to get 169. Now, square root 169. And again, it comes as a whole number, so that will be your answer. It's good to give your unit. Here they haven't given us any unit. Is it meter, centimeter? We don't know. So just write it that many units. So 13 units. Example 3. Find the value of hypotenuse and answer in third and two decimal places. So I've got the right angle triangle here. That's my C, my hypotenuse, which is opposite to the 90 degrees. And I've got one short side is 6, the other short side is 5. Okay, again Pythagoras, C squared is one short side squared plus other short side squared. Put that in your calculator, get 36, and 5 squared is 25, add them up to get 61. Now, 61 is a number that you cannot square root and get a whole number. So, you leave C squared is 61, then C will be square root of 61. That's the third form. C is equal to square root of 61. That is the third form. Or you can again put in your calculator and give it to 2 decimal places, and it will go forever, but you got to give it to 2 decimal places. And that becomes at 7.81 units. Again, they haven't told me it is meters or centimeters, I just left it as units. Example 4. A ladder has its space 1.5 meters from the wall. So here I have this ladder, this is my wall, and this is the ground. So I'm putting this ladder in a way that from the base of the wall it is 1.5 meters away, and also the ladder reaches a height of 4 meters on the wall. So the height is that much. They are asking us to find how long the ladder is. Okay, again here you can see that the ladder, this part of the ground and the wall, they form a right angle triangle. Because a wall is always perpendicular to the ground, so making it 90 degrees there. Alright, so sometimes you got to see your own triangle. It's not the triangle has been given readily to you. You got to find which triangle is there. Alright, so c squared is equal to a shorter side is 1.5 squared plus the other short side is 4 squared. And you put that in your calculator, all together you end up with c squared is equal to 18.25. Then c is the square root of this. And if you put that, they want the answer to 1 decimal place. If you put that in your calculator, you type that, you get this 4.27200 goes forever again, but we want only 1 decimal place. So we want only up to here. But because the 1 is dropping, that's the critical one, 7 is the critical digit. The 1 is dropping, which is closest to the one we are keeping. It is 5 or more, you got to add 1 to the one you're keeping. So 2 turns into 3. So your answer becomes 4.3 meters. Thank you for your attention.